Understanding your rights in an Uber crash lawsuit. Being in an Uber accident can be overwhelming, especially when it comes to understanding your legal rights and options for pursuing compensation. With the popularity of rideshare services in New York, including Brooklyn, it's critical to know the rights available to passengers, drivers, and others affected by Uber accidents. This knowledge can be crucial in navigating the legal process and securing the compensation you deserve. Liability in an Uber crash. Determining liability in an Uber accident can be complex due to the multiple parties involved. This may include the Uber driver, other drivers, passengers, or even Uber itself. New York's Article 44B of the Vehicle and Traffic Law outlines specific rules for rideshare services, including insurance and liability requirements. Liability depends on whether the Uber driver was logged into the app, actively transporting a passenger, or offline at the time of the accident. When an Uber driver is at fault, their actions, such as speeding, distraction, or other negligent driving behaviors, are closely examined. If they are logged into the Uber app or transporting a passenger, New York law mandates specific insurance coverage that provides protection for bodily injuries and property damage. In cases where another driver is responsible for the accident, that driver's insurance typically covers the initial compensation. However, if the at-fault driver lacks sufficient insurance, Uber's underinsured motorist policy can help bridge the gap, providing additional financial coverage for medical expenses, lost wages, and more. When you can file a lawsuit in an Uber crash filing against the Uber driver, if an Uber driver's negligence led to the accident, New York law allows passengers and other affected individuals to file a claim against that driver. Damages could include medical costs, lost income, pain and suffering, and property damages. For instance, if the driver was at fault and logged into the app, their personal insurance and Uber's contingent liability coverage may apply, depending on whether the driver was waiting for a ride request, en route to a passenger, or transporting someone. Filing against other drivers or third parties. When another driver causes an Uber accident, victims may file against that driver for injuries or damages. For example, if a driver runs a red light and collides with an Uber vehicle, the at-fault driver's insurance would be the primary coverage for injury and property claims. In cases where a third party causes the Uber driver to crash, they too can be held accountable for damages. New York law supports pursuing claims from any party whose actions contributed to the accident. Limitations on suing Uber directly. Uber classifies its drivers as independent contractors, not employees, which limits direct legal action against the company. Because of this independent contractor status, Uber generally cannot be held liable for the driver's actions, unlike a traditional employer. However, Uber maintains robust insurance policies, including $1 million in third-party liability and uninsured motorist coverage, to compensate victims, even if Uber itself cannot be directly sued. How to navigate the Uber accident claim process. After an Uber accident, understanding the insurance coverage distinctions for rideshare drivers is critical. Each phase of a rideshare trip has a unique insurance coverage level. Driver offline. If the driver is not logged into the app, their personal auto insurance is the sole coverage. Driver available on the app but not in a ride. When logged in and awaiting a ride request, Uber's contingent liability insurance provides up to $50,000 per person for bodily injury, $100,000 per accident for multiple injuries, and $25,000 for property damage. Driver en route or transporting a passenger. When the driver is en route to a passenger or actively transporting them, Uber's comprehensive insurance covers up to $1 million in third-party liability. This includes uninsured motorist coverage if another at-fault driver lacks sufficient insurance. New York's rideshare insurance laws ensure coverage across these phases, though compensation options may vary depending on the driver's status. If an accident involves shared liability, New York's comparative negligence rules apply, allocating damages based on each party's percentage of fault. This means that even if an Uber driver is partly at fault, they can still recover partial compensation, depending on their level of responsibility in the incident. When dealing with the insurance and legal aspects of an Uber crash, working with a Brooklyn-based rideshare accident attorney can ensure a smooth process. They can help you assess fault, negotiate with insurers, and file any necessary claims against all at-fault parties. If you've been involved in an Uber crash, Kucher Law Group can provide guidance and help ensure you get the compensation you're entitled to. Call Kucher Law Group at 929-563-6780 or visit our office at 463 Pulaski Street, No. 1C, Brooklyn, New York, 11221, United States, to discuss your case.